25 Japanese disciplines that quietly solve everyday problems. Chaotic crowded street, car horns. Someone yelling into a phone on speaker, trash on the floor. Cut to Japan. Clean train station, organized lines, silent commuters, shelves perfectly arranged. Why does everyday life look calmer in Japan? Not perfect, not magical, just smoother. Some countries try to solve problems with more rules. Japan often solves them with something much quieter. Habits, tiny disciplines repeated so consistently, they become invisible. And the weird part, most of these habits cost absolutely nothing. Meanwhile, some of us need 3 alarms, motivational podcasts, iced coffee, emotional support playlists, and a small spiritual awakening just to answer one email. Visual cut, person typing on my way while still wrapped in a towel. So what exactly are Japanese people doing differently? And why does daily life there often look cleaner, calmer, and more organized, even in one of the busiest countries on earth? By the end of this video, you may realize something important. The biggest life upgrade is not money. It's discipline hiding inside tiny daily habits. And honestly, some of these habits might quietly expose all of us. They respect time like it's physical. Problem solved. Constant lateness and chaos. In Japan, time is treated almost like a shared resource. If you waste people's time, it's seen as disrespectful. That's why trains arrive with terrifying precision. A train being 30 seconds late in Japan becomes national news. Meanwhile elsewhere, someone says, "Bro, I'm outside," and somehow they are still emotionally at home. Bullet train synchronization shots. Japanese punctuality reduces stress before it even starts. Because when everyone respects time, daily life stops feeling like survival mode. 2. They clean spaces they didn't dirty. Problem solved. Dirty environments. In many Japanese schools, students clean their own classrooms. Not because schools can't hire cleaners, because responsibility creates ownership. When people clean spaces themselves, they stop treating public areas like abandoned battlefields. Meanwhile, imagine introducing this elsewhere. Half the students would suddenly discover severe back pain, temporary dizziness, and a mysterious allergy to brooms. But psychologically, it works. People protect what they help maintain. 3. Quiet public spaces. Problem solved. Mental exhaustion. Japanese trains are often shockingly quiet. No loud phone calls, no screaming TikTok videos, no uncle arguing with customer service on speakerphone. Just peace. Meanwhile, some buses sound like podcasts fighting each other, ringtone competitions, and one person chewing aggressively for no reason. Constant noise drains the brain. Silence protects mental energy. And honestly, after a while, quiet starts feeling luxurious. 4. Minimalism prevents financial stress. Problem solved. Overspending. Japan helped popularize minimalism for a reason. Smaller homes for smarter living. Instead of buying endlessly, many people focus on buying fewer things with higher quality. Meanwhile, some closets look like failed shopping experiments. Half the clothes still have tags. And somehow there's always, "I have nothing to wear." Minimalism doesn't just save space. It reduces financial pressure, cleaning stress, and decision fatigue. Less clutter outside, less clutter inside. 5. They separate indoor and outdoor shoes. Problem solved. Dirty homes. In Japan, outdoor shoes stay outside living spaces. Simple habit, massive impact. Because your floor stays cleaner, your home feels calmer. And psychologically, changing shoes signals a mental transition. Outside stress ends here. Meanwhile, some people walk into bed wearing shoes that survived public bathrooms, gas stations, airports, and unknown liquids. That's not confidence, that's biological warfare. 6. Convenience stores are treated with respect. Problem solved. Public disorder. Japanese convenience stores look almost unreal. Shelves organized, products aligned, spaces respected. People return items properly instead of throwing frozen chicken beside shampoo like emotional revenge. Meanwhile, some stores look like tornadoes with discount signs. Discipline in small public spaces creates smoother experiences for everyone. Tiny acts of order reduce collective stress. 7. They practice quiet discipline daily. Problem solved. Motivation dependency. One of the biggest differences. Japan relies more on systems than motivation. People don't wake up every day asking, "Do I feel inspired?" Because honestly, If humans only acted when inspired, civilization would collapse by Wednesday. Japanese discipline is often repetitive and quiet, not dramatic, not social media motivational, just consistent, and consistency beats intensity almost every time. 8. Packaging is done carefully. Problem solved. Carelessness culture. In Japan, presentation matters. Even packaging is handled carefully. Why? Because details communicate respect. The message becomes, this mattered enough to do properly. Meanwhile, some deliveries arrive looking like they survived a hostage situation. Care in small things changes how people experience daily life. 9. Public shame replaces excessive policing. Problem solved. Bad behavior. Japan relies heavily on social accountability. People avoid embarrassing the group, so many rules are enforced socially before police ever need involvement. Meanwhile, in some places, people break rules while making direct eye contact with authority, like, "Yes, officer, I parked here." Emotionally, social pressure can sometimes maintain order more effectively than constant punishment. 10. They walk with awareness. Problem solved. Public chaos. In crowded Japanese cities, movement still feels organized. People naturally stay aware of others. No random stopping in doorways like confused NPCs. No diagonal walking patterns inspired by chaos theory. Some people walk through malls like they're the final boss of traffic. Awareness reduces friction, and friction is what makes daily life exhausting. 11. Small homes, smarter organization. Problem solved. Clutter stress. Japanese apartments are often compact, so people learn efficient organization early. Storage becomes intentional. Every object earns its place. Meanwhile, some garages contain broken chairs, mysterious wires, old gym equipment, and emotional support cardboard boxes from 2014. Organized spaces quietly reduce anxiety because your brain relaxes when your environment makes sense. 12. They don't worship constant luxury. Problem solved. Lifestyle inflation. Japan often values practicality over constant status signaling. Not everyone feels pressured to appear rich every second. Meanwhile, some people buy things mainly to impress people they secretly dislike. That's exhausting. When identity depends on consumption, peace disappears. But simplicity creates breathing room. 13. Silence is not awkward. Problem solved. Overstimulation. In many cultures, silence feels uncomfortable. People rush to fill every gap. But in Japan, silence is often accepted naturally. And honestly, that's emotionally healthy because not every moment needs commentary. Some people narrate life like rejected podcast hosts. Silence allows thoughts to settle, and modern brains desperately need that. 14. Respect starts before emotions. Problem solved. Public aggression. Japanese culture often prioritizes self-control. You may feel angry internally, but public behavior still matters. That prevents emotional explosions from spreading everywhere. Meanwhile, some adults react to inconvenience like malfunctioning toddlers. One delayed order and suddenly the customer is always right. Sir, you're yelling at a teenager over extra pickles. Self-control protects social peace. 15. Trains run on precision. Problem solved. Wasted time. Japanese transportation systems are famous for accuracy because reliable systems reduce invisible stress. When transportation becomes predictable, work improves, planning improves, life improves. Meanwhile, some commuters develop detective skills trying to predict buses. According to the vibration of the wind, maybe it's coming. Precision protects peace. But here's the part most people completely miss. Japan's discipline is not about perfection. It's about reducing friction in everyday life. Tiny systems preventing tiny chaos. And the next habits explain why many Japanese people appear calmer, even under pressure. 16. They normalize repetition. Problem solved. Inconsistency. Japanese discipline accepts repetition. Doing small things consistently is respected. Meanwhile, some people restart their lives every Monday. New week, new me. By Thursday, eating cereal at 2 a.m. while watching conspiracy documentaries. Real improvement usually looks boring, and boring consistency quietly beats emotional intensity. 17. Presentation matters. Problem solved. Careless living. In Japan, presentation reflects mindset. Food presentation, packaging, spaces, clothing. not perfection, care. Because how you present things affects how people experience them. Even your own brain responds differently to order and beauty. Meanwhile, some desks look like unresolved legal disputes. 18. They respect shared spaces. Problem solved. Public irresponsibility. Shared spaces in Japan often remain clean because people treat them as collective responsibility, not someone else will fix it. That mindset changes everything. Societies become stressful and nobody feels responsible for anything outside their front door. 19. Children learn responsibility early. Problem solved. Entitlement. In Japan, children are often trusted with responsibility earlier. Some travel independently, help with tasks, participate in community systems. Responsibility builds confidence. Meanwhile, some fully grown adults panic if Wi-Fi disappears for 6 seconds. Comfort without responsibility creates fragility. 20. Calmness is seen as strength. Problem solved. Emotional impulsiveness. In many places, loudness gets mistaken for confidence, but Japan often associates calmness with maturity. And honestly, some people think volume equals intelligence. If shouting made people correct, every argument online would become a Nobel Prize ceremony. Calm people think clearer, and clarity solves problems faster than emotional chaos. 21. Simplicity is seen as elegant. Problem solved. Trying too hard. Japanese aesthetics often value simplicity, clean design, open space, subtle beauty, because simplicity reduces mental overload. Meanwhile, modern life sometimes feels like notifications attacking your soul. Minimalism is not emptiness, it's intentional breathing room. 22. Routine reduces stress. Problem solved. Decision fatigue. Routine removes unnecessary decisions, and human brains get exhausted making too many choices. What to wear, what to eat, what to do first, what to procrastinate professionally. Structure reduces mental friction. Freedom without structure often becomes hidden chaos. 23. They value collective comfort. Problem solved. Self-centered culture. Many Japanese habits prioritize not disturbing others. Phone manners, public behavior, shared etiquette. The question becomes, how do my actions affect people around me? Meanwhile, some people play videos loudly in public like they were personally hired by chaos. Collective awareness creates smoother societies. 24. They maintain things for long-term use. Problem solved. Wastefulness. Japanese culture often values maintenance and longevity. Things are repaired, protected, preserved. Meanwhile, some people treat expensive items like temporary emotions. Phone falls once. Guess I need a new identity now. Maintenance is underrated discipline. Taking care of things saves money, reduces waste, and creates gratitude. 25. Discipline is embedded into identity. Problem solved. Waiting for motivation. The most powerful lesson: discipline in Japan often becomes cultural identity, not temporary motivation. Not, I'll start next month. Just normal behavior repeated over years. And that changes everything. Because habits eventually stop feeling like effort. They become who you are. The real discipline gap is not intelligence. It's not genetics. And it's definitely not perfection. Japanese people are not superhuman. The difference is that many small habits quietly protect daily life from unnecessary chaos. Tiny disciplines, tiny courtesies, tiny systems, repeated thousands of times, and eventually, those small habits shape entire environments. Because peace is rarely random. What if calmness is built? What if confidence comes from order? What if discipline is actually a form of self-respect? Not punishment, not suffering, just protecting your future self from avoidable stress. And maybe the goal is not becoming Japanese. Maybe the lesson is realizing how powerful small habits become when practiced consistently. Because in the end, a peaceful life is rarely an accident. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone whose room currently looks like a crime investigation. And comment below, which Japanese habit do you think the rest of the world desperately needs most?